This video is going to be my first look at some of the Ravens film from Sunday's Week 6 win over the Titans. I'm really going to focus this video on first half offensive film, and I'm going to offer to you that that's actually more of a missed opportunity than some of the situations in the third quarter where the offense went really dry and really stagnant for 3 possessions. I'll do a later video about that one. I felt like this was a good place to start because we missed so many opportunities to score touchdowns. Or excuse me, we were in position to possibly score touchdowns. But I will try to show some of the really cool plays and at least one way that I think Todd Monken kind of set the Titans defense up. We'll go through, I think I've got 14 plays loaded up here. A handful of them are from the end zone angle. Show you some of the ways that Lamar was throwing the football. A couple of the arm angles or the arm slots he was throwing from, so accurate. The awareness to understand where defensive linemen are and then slide the arm angle down or up, depending on which side they're on. It's kind of amazing that he's able to see downfield where he's throwing the football, where he's trying to lead someone to, or at times throw it on the back shoulder and then navigate the defensive linemen that are in his face. You know, it's a skill that NFL quarterbacks work on, but I think we've got a guy who's pretty good at it. Let's get to the film. We're going to start on the first possession. Really going to focus on the first 4 possessions here. This is a 3rd and 5. This is the screen to Aguilar up top. And first of all, Aguilar's playing really well for us. I know he had a dropped pass that probably would have been a touchdown in the difference in the game against the Steelers the week before. But multiple guys have made mistakes, particularly in the last 2 weeks. This is a check by Lamar. You can see Aguilar with the hand signal. Ronnie Stanley, great job getting out there late. Linderbaum getting up to the corner. This is almost gone. This is almost over with on a 3rd and 5, first possession. Big moment, if you ask me. Lamar has checked to it. You can see Aguilar has communicated out to Zay Flowers what it is in terms of the check. So people aren't wrong when they say Lamar's making checks at the line of scrimmage like most quarterbacks do. This one is almost over with. This guy is, I think it's Murphy Bunting, I think, is the guy who had the pick later on, is just able to get a piece of Aguilar. Damn near a touchdown on the first possession. Would have been a big moment. Same play. You'll watch from the end zone angle. Watch these guys get out of there. Our 2 most athletic offensive linemen, Stanley and Linderbaum, are the guys that are generally assigned to get out there on these screens. So I'm interested in how many screens we have run to our left versus how many screens we have run to our right. The blocking scheme of it, the left guard and right guard are basically staying in, or they are slower, less athletic guys. Sure they are, but I'm interested in the right and left tendencies, if there are any, in terms of our screen usage so far. Really quick getting the ball out there. Aguilar's burst, you can see it. Just wish he was able to snag past that shoestring tackle. All right, very next play, I believe. This is going to be Flowers. I mean, this is ridiculous. Lamar throws this over top of a defender and then to the sideline. We don't necessarily have a great angle here. To me, it looks like kind of like a cover 3 version where you have 4 underneath defenders. And Lamar is throwing this to the sideline. He's already let go of it. I hate the phrase anticipation pass. I'm sure there's probably some better film analysts out there than me who utilize that phrase often. I reject it wholeheartedly. There's reads and there's reactions to those reads. However, this appears to be one where there is no window for Lamar to throw this ball to Zay Flowers in a direct path. He understands he's got to put this thing way out here towards the sideline and let Zay Flowers go up and get it. I know our angle is maybe a little deceiving, but I think he's throwing that over top of and outside of the defender who's playing curl flat in cover 3. I think it's a beautiful throw. Unfortunately, the end zone angle is kind of hazy. You see Lamar. Maybe you can see Lamar is letting go of the ball here. You got the camera in the way, and it's hazy film. You miss the catch over there. I kind of wish I didn't download this one, but you see that it's a completed pass for 14 yards. Pretty impressive start for Lamar. Play action boot to Bateman on the backside, so we're faking like we're running the zone or the stretch to our left to the boundary. Bateman's got probably like 6 catches like this in the last 2 years, and I don't know if I have the end zone angle of this one, but watch what Lamar does with the defender. I think it's McCreary who's in his face. He's going to pump fake to kind of get him to hesitate, maybe even get him to elevate. And once he does, then he turns sidearm and throws it. I mean, I know some people don't like my comparison saying he throws the ball like a major league shortstop, but I think he does. This is the last play from the first possession that I'll show. We're going to skip around here. Notice the backfield alignment and personnel grouping. 20 personnel, so 2 running backs and 3 receivers. I call this spread sniffer, spread ram sometimes, but spread sniffer. Spread means there's 3 receivers and not 2. and it's a give to Gus for a 1 yard gain on a 2nd and 2. Keep that in mind because I think this is one of the situations where Monken is intentionally using plays from the same formation in a particular order to set defenses up. It's a great job by Gibbons, whose name I mispronounced like 4 times last night, to get a stop. Second possession, very similar to the very similar to the Aguilar screen. Lamar is giving some kind of check to these guys. The Titans are going to zone this off to the boundary side. You'll see the corner kind of sit on Gus's flat route. He's playing in between there, and this one's almost over too. It's a beautiful throw by Lamar. I know OBJ is, a little older, doesn't have that breakaway speed, but this is a 32 or 34-yard gain. Beautiful throw by Lamar again to get this around a defender. Great hands by OBJ on the run. I know he doesn't have 25 catches so far or whatever, however many DeAndre Hopkins has, but I'm glad we got the guy, and I think he's going to have an impact, and I'll continue to stay on that opinion track as we move through the season. That's it. Once again, this is second possession, a 3rd and 5. Huge gain to get us out near midfield. End zone angle view, same play. Camera gets in the way a little bit, but you'll see Lamar kind of throwing this around people through the lane here. And you can see the zone orientation. It's Tampa 2, just so you know. Shair is playing the deep middle in the Tampa 2. And OBJ runs onto the open space. Beautiful throw by Lamar. On time, on target, got the right pace. 1st and 10, very next play, I believe, from right at midfield. Same formation I just talked about. 20 personnel, spread or sniffer. And you're going to get the play action fake to Gus. Kind of draws people up here. What does that do? Allows Aguilar to fit over the top of those guys. I mean, maybe if there was no play action fake, it would still hold the defenders. But my point is there seems to be some intention with certain plays being revealed on particular possessions, trying to set defenses up. One theory, and I don't know that I necessarily believe this, that someone offered it on Discord is, well, maybe we're using all of those plays in the first half to set defenses up. We're kind of shooting all of our bullets too soon. I don't know if that's the case, but you can see, I think, very clearly here how Monken utilized that formation to kind of set the defense up. 3rd and 4 down in the red zone, second possession still. It's going to be an incomplete pass to OBJ up top. I don't think there's really anything happening here in terms of this route. To me, Lamar's throwing this in a place where no one can catch it intentionally because he recognizes that OBJ is not open. For whatever reason on this play, there's no read to allow Lamar to throw it to the back of the end zone. You may recall, I think Marquise Brown had a touchdown on the back of the end zone maybe 3 years ago on a similar pass. Devin Duvernay against the Vikings kind of crossing the field, where Lamar threw it on the backside away from a safety, so Duve made a one-handed catch. My point is, I think Lamar's throwing this ball exactly where he wants to throw it because he recognizes OBJ's not open for what appears to be a hard-coded route, meaning there's no choice for OBJ to change this and bring this back to the middle of the field. Great job by McCreary, who I think is an extremely underrated football player. So we settle for another field goal on the second possession, puts us up 6-3. I'm going to fast forward some on the third possession. I don't like this call necessarily, and I don't also agree with the people who've said, if Lamar takes that downhill, it's QB power, so you can't bounce it. He's bouncing it outside the scheme. Okay, fine. When you get the end zone angle, like you tell me where he's supposed to go, we're just not winning in this case, I don't think. We're not closing off the backside D tackle here, so that may be what Lamar sees in terms of other team's color jersey. Chooses to bounce it, 4-yard loss on 3rd and goal from the 2. So we settle for another field goal to put us up 9-3. I'll let you see it and you tell me. I mean, the end zone angle on the broadcast was like, at first I was like, okay, he bounced it. You're not supposed to bounce power because you're going outside the scheme. There's not really anything downhill. There's no wall being built, if you ask me, because this guy is crossing Linderbaum's face on the back block. So what I mean is he's got a 3 backside. So he's got to pin this guy down so that he doesn't cross Linderbaum's face and get involved, because the direction or the point of attack of the play is to the offense's right or our left on the screen. 94 crosses his face. If Lamar is able to take this thing downhill, you tell me what's going to happen. There's no room there. We're not winning, in my opinion. Shouldn't bounce it outside the scheme. I agree. But it wasn't going to work going downhill nonetheless, in my opinion. Settle for another field goal. That puts us up 9-3. think I misspoke a moment ago and said we were already up 9-3. All right, fourth possession, a little bit more smooth stuff and a little bit more credit, I think, to the plays that we're calling and the order that we're using them in. This is the first play, I believe, of the fourth possession, and we go 22 personnel. This is early in the game. Our run game hadn't stagnated necessarily at that point. 22 personnel, so we got two backs in the backfield, and we've got a tight end and a tight end here, Andrews and Kolar. And I love the max protect nature of this. Gus, I think it's Gus, maybe it's actually Justice Hill, picks up someone who flashes and does a nice job. If there was no one showing, Justice Hill would slip out into the flats and be a potential third late release valve. I thought that Kurt Warner covered this very well during the game. Mark Andrews appeared to read that his corner route or outbreaking route was closed off. So he just sat down between the hash and the top of the numbers, kind of like a release valve, although he was the primary intention of the play, if you ask me. And Lamar reads it. All ball's already out. Quick. Andrews, I think 20 or 21 yards. End zone angle, same play. Again, 22 personnel, kind of setting the Titans up to think, okay, they're going 22 personnel to run the football. I think Monken at times is doing a really good job of trying to play that chess game of showing you something and then countering off of it. At times, has it been unsuccessful? Of course it has, but this is one example where it was. Very next play, same personnel grouping, 22 personnel. Kolar's down bottom here. Ricard and Andrews up top, and we run outside zone stretch to that side. Now, I thought that this was a hold on Moses during the game that was uncalled, that was not called, big tackle by Kevin Biard. Thought it was a hold, but I think now that Moses is just chopping down on the defensive lineman who's got full extension lockout on him for a moment. Linderbaum doing a great job closing off this front side here. I think Moses chops down here. You'll get the end zone angle in a minute. Maybe you disagree and you think it should be a hold, but it's a great cut by Justice Hill nonetheless for 7 or 8 yards. End zone angle, same play. Remember, this is the second play in a row that's 22 personnel. So we're giving them multiple formations from that platform. Here's what I'm talking about right here. Live, I thought this was a hold, not called, but we're doing a good job here, scooping that, reaching that, and then trying to get out to Al-Shahir, who played a hell of a game, got 15 tackles. He's closed off. Doesn't look like as much of a hold as I thought there in live time, but if you're a Titans fan and you've watched this long, first of all, thank you. Second of all, if you think it's a hold, I understand. All right, so this is now 1st and 10. We're fast forwarding a little bit on the fourth possession. 1st and 10, 13-yard line. And again, we're in 22 personnel. Now, it's an unsuccessful play. It's Ricard for 3 yards to the boundary. I do like that we're running stuff like this, not necessarily to Ricard, but out of 22 personnel. I like that we're showing some play action stuff, so we're less tendency-based. This is forward thinking here. So we're less tendency-based with 22 personnel with Ricard on the field than we were maybe at this point last season. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. I think Al-Shahir is a damn good football player. I think we've got to do more to hold him here, to try to get him moving more laterally. This seems like a pretty quick fake to me. We do give him a pulling guard in Simpson. So Simpson's pulling. He's sitting for a moment. He's very disciplined and a very smart player. The path that Simpson took possibly also could have tipped him off. As it stands, likely is running the corner route. Lamar's got a guy in his face, so he's getting rid of the ball early, or as quick as he can, excuse me. Andrews is kind of settling down. Ricard into the flats is really the only option that he's got. I think Lamar's decision-making the last 2 weeks has been fantastic. The pace that he's throwing the ball with as well. This is the touchdown to Zay Flowers, who is located up at the top of the screen on a 2nd and 7. Very next play after I showed you, the previous play I showed you. And you're getting play action. I think Gus chops down a DN. Ronnie Stanley smacks Jeffrey Simmons in the mouth. Lets it run one more time from the all-22 angle. Zay Flowers' first career touchdown. I mean, how cool was that? Like, how are you not excited? I forget who it was on Twitter pointed out that Kevin Zeitler ran like 15 yards to go celebrate with the dude. Watch Ronnie Stanley peel back and legally peel back on Simmons and smack him in the face. And then Zay Flowers is going to put his foot in the ground, bring this thing back towards the hash. Once Lamar breaks contain, you got 2 guys down here on Andrews, I think. And a great job by Lamar of running to his left, throwing it to Zay in stride. End zone angle, same play. I think Gus cuts down 96 here, but I could be wrong. Somebody off the left-hand side of our screen, right-hand side of the Titans defense. Left-hand side of the Titans defense. Yes, 96. Al-Shaair is also out of the play. Ronnie Stanley with the peel back legally. Hits Zay in stride. The announcers did a great job covering it, that was a mismatch, even though it was to the boundary and maybe not the intention of their coverage. Now, this last one annoys me to no end. So I hate to end this on a negative note, but this is the two-point conversion play. We're up 15-3 at this point. There's 33 minutes left in the game. I do like the play. I'll be straight up honest with you. I love the screen or pick nature of it. It's not really a screen. I love the pick nature of it by OBJ. But I think he's got to sell this a little better in terms of actually running a route. Or the ball's got to be thrown, behind the line. But we're on the 2. So I don't want to see the ball thrown back behind the line of scrimmage. To me, that doesn't make sense. I like the play. Everybody else uses pick plays. We're using them a lot more this season. If you remember the 3rd and 6 2 weeks ago, I guess 3 weeks ago now, 3 games ago, the 3rd and 6 completion to Melvin Gordon on the wheel, Nelson Aguilar was basically picking or screening the inside linebacker, JOK, who was responsible for covering Gordon. We're using these things more smoothly. We're better at doing them. So I'm cool with the play call. The execution isn't great. However, I'm not cool with the decision to go for it in the first place. What the hell difference does 1 point make with 33 minutes left in the game? Well, it sure would have been nice to be up by 1 extra point when the Titans are going to onside kick the ball in the final minute of the game. And if we bobble the onside kick, or God forbid it hits one of our guys and bounces right back to him, it sure would have been nice to be up by 9 points instead of 8. Possibly Mike Vrabel's decisions would have been different, but I just don't think there's any reason to be going for 15-3 in the first half with that much football game left to play. There's no level of analytics or no sheet that can predict what would happen in the 15 minutes from the start of the third quarter to the end of or beginning of the fourth quarter. There's nothing that can predict that. If you want to say, Coach, that's the right move to go ahead and go for 2, and you want to say at the beginning of the fourth quarter or the end of the third, fine, when there's less time left and less possible outcomes for all of the plays between here and then. But making that decision in the second quarter seems really short-sighted. Nonetheless, opportunities left out on the field, you have to give credit to the way Lamar threw the ball. I thought, the interception, whatever happened there, I'm not sure I'll get to it when I get a chance to watch it later on. I got the film late this evening, but I wanted to get this one out and show some of the concepts that I thought were cool, some of the things Lamar was doing in terms of checking to plays, at least 2 examples over here, and some of the ways I thought Todd Monken was trying to set up the Titans defense. In one example successfully, and in one perhaps not. You guys let me know what you think of the video in the comment section. I'll have a video coming out on Clowney and Van Noy, hopefully before the Monday night game starts. But in any case, appreciate you guys' time. If you think other Ravens fans would enjoy this content, this film study look at some of the plays that were interesting from the first half, please consider grabbing a link and sharing this video out on social media to help this content get more reach.